Today I'm playing Antony and Cleopatra. It's designed by John Theissen. Like the other games that John has done for us, it's a game of operational maneuver. It's that cat and mouse chase where you're trying to come to grips with the enemy, and you want to concentrate enough forces to get a decisive result. But if you clump them together too much, in this game, you're going to get plague and attrition. You're going to lose units. And that's bad because every loss you get, whether it's in battle or from attrition, is going to damage your prestige. And your goal is to get your opponent's prestige down to 0. As your prestige goes lower, your opponent might be able to get troops or whole provinces to defect to their side. You might also have to deal with invasions from Rome's enemies, like the Illyrians here, also the Parthians. So you want to keep your prestige high while lowering the other guys, and they're trying to lower yours. And here we have a standoff, basically. Octavian and Antony are trying to clobber each other, and they're pretty evenly matched. Now, these stacks look pretty big, but in the game we have holding boxes, so these big stacks actually would be, off in the boxes. I'm just showing you that, we have these kind of large forces here that they've amassed, but they're not quite getting traction because they're evenly matched. So it's a one-to-one kind of thing going on. So Octavian is thinking, as this is going on, my prestige is being lowered here, being whittled down. I need to find a different way to do this. So maybe, he's thinking, maybe I'm going to fall back here, fall back away from Antony, and then make a run for Alexandria, which is the enemy capital. Now, the problem there, of course, is that you have the Mediterranean to cross, and how are you going to get your dudes from, Italy to Egypt? Well, there are transport units, which are these guys here, and each transport can carry one of your units. You have 3 transports, you're moving 3 units at a time, and they can get them across that sea. The problem is, if you are going through a sea hexes, then you have to roll on a sea hazard movement table, and you might lose your ships, might lose your guys. It's very dangerous to cross the sea. So you might want to stick to the coast, but then it takes longer to do it. So you have these problems of movement and logistics that the actual commanders had at the time. And, beyond that, if you're sticking to the coast because it's safer, you've still got enemy squadrons, light and heavy squadrons, that can attack your transports. If they attack your transports and they're unsupported, transports go away. That's not so great for the legions that are in those transports. So you have your own squadrons, of course, and so then you have the contesting the sea. So you have not just the land maneuver, but you have the sea maneuver, and you have all these kind of problems occurring together, and that makes it really, really interesting. And if I'm Octavian and I'm going to make it run for Egypt, I can't leave Rome, undefended, because Antony's right there. I want Antony to come chase me. I don't want him to come get my capital before I get his. So maybe as Octavian, what I'm going to do is I'm going to peel off some of my troops from the Danube, and bring in more legions. But if I do that, if I'm lowering the number of garrisons I have off on the Danube, then I'm going to be inviting the possibility of there being trouble there. And trouble is going to make my borders less secure, or it's going to cause a rebellion. And that's going to decrease the number of resource points I have. And already I don't have a lot of resource points compared to Antony, because he has those rich eastern provinces that he's drawing from, and those resource points are what allow you to build more units. So as I'm fighting this long war, I want to keep bringing in new units, replenishing my losses, and I need to hold onto my resources to do that. So it's a very tricky situation for both players. And that's what makes the game, I think, really fascinating, and is probably my favorite of the games that John has done for us, because you have all the kind of the crunchy operational maneuver stuff from his Civil War games, but on this much bigger scope with more problems to deal with, and everything has its cost, and everything it's fun. Hooray!